Man, the Ravens, they've been getting away with murder because any other team has a former MVP quarterback who is 26 years old. We're not talking about like Cam when he's 33 and he is technically a former. We're talking about 26 years old. And you just lost him. They lost him. He might be under contract. They lost him. And now look, I've been saying this for years. It just came out. Lamar Jackson has officially requested a trade from Baltimore. So unlike last year where he wasn't willing to sit out, where he wasn't willing to request a trade, where he wasn't willing to make things uncomfortable in order to get what he wants, now he has decided he is done. Once your quarterback requests a trade, 90% chance he ain't coming back, man. Like, it's a strong chance he not coming back, especially if he feels disrespected. But let's walk through how we got here, because there's a lot of finger pointing from Baltimore fans and Baltimore's organization on how they got here to kind of dilute the blame from themselves. Ironically enough, they've been pointing at Cleveland. But I would like to point out to anybody who says, well, it's Cleveland's fault that Lamar Jackson can't be in Baltimore. One, does Cleveland not get credit for that? Like, it's not like Cleveland is trying to help Baltimore. So if it is like you say Cleveland's fault that they can't re-sign their former MVP 26-year-old quarterback, well then congratulations, Cleveland. Good job. So I don't understand what the criticism is on Cleveland's part that Lamar Jackson can't get to Baltimore. But I don't even think that's true. People want to blame this on Cleveland. People want to blame this on Deshaun Watson's contract. It ignores that this has been going on for 2 years. This whole situation has been going on for 2 years. You know who else was in the 2018 draft class? Josh Allen. You know who else got paid? And it's not Josh Allen. If the Ravens would have simply taken care of this like every other team has, when they could, like the Bills did with Josh Allen, like name any franchise quarterback like those teams have done with them, they wouldn't be in this situation because Lamar Jackson would have been under contract, under an extension before Deshaun Watson was even available for trade. But it's somehow the Browns' fault. No, it's the Baltimore Ravens' fault. People still give the Baltimore Ravens credit for stuff that Ozzie Newsome did, but Ozzie Newsome isn't there, and it hasn't been more clear to me that Ozzie Newsome hasn't been there than it has been today. Because the Ravens created every single thing. If you're a Ravens fan and you're mad, you should be mad at your ownership and your general manager and your front office because they made this happen. This ain't the Browns' fault. That's who they can conveniently point the finger at. But the truth is that they could have handled this before Deshaun Watson even got a contract, was still on technically the Houston Texans. Before anybody even knew he was going to get a new contract. They could have handled this. But they chose not to. They thought the price for Josh Allen was too high, and they thought they were smarter than everybody else. And keep in mind, during this whole situation, they were paying everybody else under the sun. Ronnie Stanley, you know, all these guys, Marlon Humphrey, they were paying all these guys except for Lamar. They even paid Roquan Smith, who they traded for in the middle of the season, before they paid Lamar. They didn't think that was going to look a little funny. Then you trade his best friend on the team during the draft. They didn't think that was going to rock the boat a little bit. They have mishandled every aspect of this Lamar Jackson situation in a way that is spectacular. And I'm a Browns fan. Like, I've seen dysfunction. I've seen mishandling of easy situations. I've never seen a easier situation mishandled as badly as the Baltimore Ravens mishandled this Lamar Jackson situation. At every step, somebody was assuring me, oh, they're playing 4D chess. They're just looking stupid right now, but they're not actually stupid. Well, now we're at the point to where they're undeniably looking stupid for what they did. They ruined the relationship with their franchise quarterback. He's requesting a trade, and you're probably not going to get that much value for him because you did not wait. Well, you did not make the move at the right time. Like, this looks like an L. So you don't sign him when Josh Allen gets his deal. You don't want to sign him to that much money. You think you're going to get the price lower, which when has the price ever gotten lower by waiting on the quarterback? I don't know. And even if that does happen, that's not something you want. Your poor quarterback get cheaper. That means he stink. right? But okay. So you wait and you kick this can down the road and you have Lamar Jackson play on a 5th-year option, which no first round Pro Bowl level quarterback has ever done since the start of the rookie wage scale. It's ever done. First time ever. I said last year, that's a disaster. If you let it get to that point and you're the Baltimore Ravens, this is a disaster. Baltimore Raven fans at the time told me to shut up. I don't know what I'm talking about. This, that, and that. I'm just mad because I'm a Browns, whatever. Y'all didn't want to listen to me when I was telling y'all the truth. Y'all wanted to listen to them lies everybody else was willing to tell y'all. And now we here. I told you him playing on his 5th year was a bad idea. Oh, we could just franchise tag him. How do you think he gonna play on that franchise tag? Honestly, you think this man gonna play on that franchise tag? If you believe that, you're delusional at this point. He not playing on that. He not playing for the Baltimore Ravens anymore, and it's all because the Ravens were being cheap. It got caught betting on the market, and it blew up in their face. And they're blaming the Cleveland Browns because the Cleveland Browns did mess up that bet on the market. But why would you bet on the market to go down when it's the quarterbacks? That made no sense to me. So Baltimore can sit here and cry and listen to Marvin's Room all they want about how this ain't they fault and how they didn't do anything wrong and wait, it's the Browns, boo. It's their own fault. They did this to themselves and they deserve no sympathy, only scrutiny for the dumb stuff that they did to get to this point. Because it was all avoidable. All they had to do was give him the same money that Josh Allen got. That's all you had to do. Maybe throw in an extra $5 million on top. Literally, it would have been solved. If we wouldn't be talking about no no Deshaun Watson deal. We wouldn't be talking about fully guaranteed. We would just be talking about Lamar Jackson being on the Ravens. But you declined to do that for whatever reason and drag this thing out. You didn't want to pay the man his worth. At any step of the way, when it was lower, you didn't want to pay it. Then it got higher, you didn't want to pay it. You fumbled this. And if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you better hope Lamar Jackson had his best years with you. Because it's the only way you get out of this saving face. That is the only way you as an organization get out of this saving face. Because if he does go somewhere, ages into his athletic prime, becomes a better quarterback than he ever was and wins another MVP, you're going to look like the biggest idiot on the block. I know Baltimore Raven fans have been accustomed to making Browns jokes, but right now, you the Browns, bruh. Like, you the Browns. Like, that's what this is like the stuff that you would comically attribute to the Cleveland Browns is what your team just did to you today. They talked themselves out of a franchise quarterback. They had one. You drafted him. You got him. Last pick in the first round. Won an MVP under his rookie deal. You got it all, but you fumbled this. And let's not talk about the only way that you fumbled this is the contract situation. Let's talk about the lack of moves you made on the offensive side of the ball since Lamar Jackson was signed, right? Everybody wants to win on their rookie deal. You see everybody surrounding their rookie quarterbacks and their quarterbacks under rookie deals with a lot of weapons. What did the Baltimore Ravens do? Did they trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Did they trade for Amari Cooper? Did they trade for Stephon Diggs? Did they try to get in there on Devontae Adams? They didn't make none of those moves. You can say, oh, well, they were close. They weren't close if they didn't make the move happen. But they were able to make moves happen for Roquan Smith, right? The emphasis was always on the wrong side of the football for the Baltimore Ravens. Let's leave Lamar hang to dry. Let's leave Lamar out there to dry. You know, and have him basically carry the whole offense with these mediocre wide receivers we keep drafting. And then let's just load up the defense and see what happens. Like this is the 1990s again. Failure. The Baltimore Ravens fumbled a Super Bowl window and a Super Bowl winning caliber quarterback. They did that all in 5 years. Think about where the Baltimore Ravens were in 2019. They were 14-2. They were ready to make the leap. And since then, they have just went downhill and downhill and downhill because they refuse to support their quarterback. They refuse to put pieces around their quarterback. They refuse to fire their offensive coordinator who was clearly limiting their quarterback. And then when it came time to get paid or pay that quarterback, they refused to do it. And now they're going to throw out Tyler Huntley and Todd Monken. And that sounds real Browns to me. That sounds like the Browns. So Baltimore Raven fans, I know, again, you've gotten accustomed to making fun of the Browns, but guess what? You the Browns now. Welcome back to Baltimore. Just, you can point the finger at whoever you want, but don't mistake that for the fact that this is all your team's fault. Your team did this to themselves. There was an out at every step of the way, but your team refused to do that for you. And instead, they're telling you to blame the Browns. And honestly, if you blame the Browns for all of this, then you actually got to give them credit. So I just don't see how anybody but Baltimore looks bad in this situation, because they should look bad and people should talk about them bad, because this was a absolute mishandling. This organization from 2019, after that 2019 season and forward, has been one of the worst run organizations that nobody's talking about. Straight up. They've gotten worse every year. Point blank, period. They went from Super Bowl contender to maybe they'll give Joe Burrow a hard time in the first round. That's where you fall into. Hey, hope you enjoy it. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night.